You're listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, good morning. It's a wonderful morning. Isn't it a wonderful morning, Jennifer?
It's a wonderful morning.
I have Jennifer Woods here from Harvest House. She's going to introduce us to the new executive director, Amber Case, who's going to sing us her favorite Broadway tune. So, go.
I don't know that you really want her to do that.
See?
She sings with, she has a joyful noise.
Joyful noise.
Actually, that's not true. She can sing on tune
Do you know I'm the only man in my church that the choir director has not hit up to be in the choir?
Yeah,
That's how bad.
me.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about how she's taken over, and we're going to talk about Jennifer's new ventures. We talked last month about Legal Shield, and is that going pretty well?
It is going to go.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, you got that slave driver, Jack Matson, cracking the whip on you.
He is not my boss.
He's not your boss?
No.
Okay, fine. Anyway, but we're going to find out what's going on in Harvest House and also how Ms. Case got this selected for this job or drafted, either way. Is that kind of how you feel sometimes?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And
Buddy.
but you're a Burleson native, so this isn't like you're moving in from out of town, even though you'd been in Georgia the last 3 or 7 months?
It is. So in April, we moved to Georgia.
We being
my husband, and I have 3 children.
Oh, my.
Yes. I actually have 4 children. I have a son that's in heaven. He went to heaven last year. So
I'm sorry.
it's okay. It was, part of God's plan. So I'd like to include him still. His
Well,
name is
of
Trent.
You always need to.
Of
I
course. No, he's still with you. I'm sorry.
Okay. He was 26. His name was Trent. So I have 4 kids, but 3 of them went with me to Georgia. So I have a 12-year-old, a 14 as of yesterday. Shane's
Happy birthday,
Yes,
Shane.
Shane's birthday was yesterday. And then my 20-year-old daughter and my husband.
Wow. Your 20-year-old daughter came back with you?
She has moved out on her own now.
Good for her.
3 weeks without her. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So she's about to get her associate's degree, and she is going to be a child psychologist.
Where's she getting her degree at?
So she's currently just going to TCC.
Right.
But she is going to probably go to University of Dallas next.
Oh, over in Irving, right? Those Cistercians will take care of her, boy. I tell you what, don't mess with them.
They have a really pretty campus. I've been there a number of times.
I've been there a couple of times, and for I don't even remember. I think one was a graduation and one was a wedding, actually. And, it's nice and isolated. But anyway, we're going to talk about all these things after we run through the sponsors. I bet you know some of them anyway, even if you've been out of town the last 7 months. We start off
Start with the logos.
The logos. Well, he's jumping right on there.
Otto.
Yeah.
Otto with Our Place.
Yeah.
Oh, can I do it for you?
I'll do
Hey,
better
Otto
than I
with
do.
Our Place. He is amazing.
He's
always-
my favorite T-shirt is from our place. It says, "Skinny people get kidnapped. Eat more cake."
Oh, well,
Well, we love Otto with Our Place. He's always doing things for the community. They are over off of Allsbury and 35,
Right.
behind Lowe's, next to McDonald's.
yeah, but
You can hardly find a parking spot because it's
really,
that good.
It really is. If you go like on a Saturday around 10 o'clock, you park in the Lowe's parking lot.
I believe they're open 6 to
No,
3.
he does. He's like, they are. And he says, well, you don't say that. They'll drive on by. I said, well, apparently not everybody's driving by. You got a full parking lot.
Always.
Yeah.
So,
And people, I see
super good.
people walking. And then he also has
as
Gina's
yes.
Pizza.
I'll be there tonight.
Oh, you will?
I'm talking with Cody O'Brien about that.
that's right.
What we were talking about before,
Yeah,
the radio
okay,
idea. Yeah.
Always good pizza. And if you haven't had the Gina special, it's really good. But
It
you have to
is.
like olives. Oh, it's so good.
I like olives.
But they
on
have a
my
really
pizza.
cool
I
vibe.
love
He's got
olives.
karaoke Sundays.
No, it's
or is that
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays? I'm sorry.
No, he has karaoke Wednesday, and then on Sundays he has live music.
Yeah, I
And
know.
a lot of the local people, like Susie Morgan's there quite a bit, and Curtis Dixon and Brock DeWald and others. These are well known to us here in Burleson. They do a lot of the local establishments. And I don't know. I was there Saturday visiting with Otto because I was telling him about the idea I was talking about, and he's all over it. And we're going to try to incorporate that live music in the new radio idea.
Ooh, how fun.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
The technology is like, I have the idea, now tell me how to do it. I'm really technologically illiterate.
But that just is like Otto. He's always supporting the community. He's always looking out for others. And he serves amazing food. So
Yeah.
like
I feel kind of sorry for him in a way because everybody in town goes to him for
everything.
everything, because they know he's good for it, and he's a good man.
But then they'll go and eat his salad and subs. Their subs are really good too.
Yeah, meatball
Italian
sandwich.
beef.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't had that one yet.
Their pizza's good.
Take the kids.
Yeah. Okay.
Also,
Go to Gina's.
Wild Cigar.
Oh,
You know them?
We know Wild Cigar. They have.
do.
They do stuff.
Amber should talk about Wild.
Wow.
Well, because you know how they support Harvest House, and
They
they're
are
awesome.
they are amazing supporters of Harvest House, and they were also a vendor at our Vineyard Vibes. I personally have not ever been there, but we have a lot of people. It might get a little smoky.
Well, that's fine, but thing about it is, even if you yourself don't smoke cigars, you know somebody that does, and they have gift cards. That's what they're selling right now, and it is, and it's a good place to go. It's even if you're not into cigars, they have a nice bar, and they have it's a quieter place, so you can talk and do business. A patio. They have a conference room,
and they have like high end, really amazing cigars. I actually listened to him, and he was talking about how they're made and where the leaves come from. I mean, it is like an intricate process, it's really interesting. And so it was, if I wanted to smoke a cigar, I would totally go there because I was fascinated enough. I just don't smoke, but like another amazing company to support.
They're
and they have food and stuff. Yeah, they're
big supporters of Harvest House. We have Kelly. She actually met her significant other there.
Yeah.
Hey, if you need
he sells
cigars, if you need a significant other, Wild is your place.
There you go.
Here's a place that you also need to go, Southern Gym. Have you been there? Yeah, it's Christmas time.
I've been to Southern Gym. They have beautiful pieces, and they're also a huge supporter of Harvest House.
Yep.
Those ladies are amazing.
Well, my wife works there, so I'm glad to say you
it's
said
a good
that.
thing I said that.
Yeah, they're amazing, except for this one crabby old woman. No, she's,
okay,
Robin,
the divorce papers are.
No, you kid. She's like, if she hears this later, her eyes will roll or whatever. See, the reason I keep her, she doesn't dump me is I know all the passwords. So that's a good
keeper of the passwords.
Yeah. But she's really good with customers. I've seen her do it. I watched her, from the side, and I don't know, she's just really good with people. I don't have that gift. I don't think, but
they have beautiful.
And Gayla Moore's is amazing, and just she knows what she's talking about. She's not pushy. I mean, she helped me last year look for a bunch of different things that weren't necessarily just there, and it was really cool.
Also, our friends over at Old Pro Roofing. They're a Burleson company. They're over in Old Town. John
Another
Williams.
Harvest House sponsor.
Yeah.
There you go. 817-734-2756 will get you John Williams. He'll come inspect your roof. Yesterday, I had Jessica Bull on for the photographer, and she said she had John on her roof last Thursday and found hail damage and found it in time so she could still file the insurance claim. Because if you don't do it within a year of the damage, then they'll say, sorry, drop dead.
I will have to say, because this is a plug for roofing in general, every year you should have your roof inspected because you just don't know, and the insurance is getting harder and harder to get them to cover it. So just have Old Pro will come out for free, look at it, and just make sure, just like you're saying, because there's deadlines, and if you don't have a storm in a certain amount of time, then you have to pay full price. Your insurance won't cover it.
And also the deductibles are rising, so you need to get it done PDQ if you got damage. Now he does mine every year rather.
Every month?
No, every month is a little obsessive. Yes, I know. It hadn't rained in 30 days, but still, you never know. No, it's a little obsessive, but he doesn't try to upsell you, and it didn't give you this doomsday scenario. Oh my Lord, if you don't get this taken care of.
It is so nice to have an honest roofer to talk to.
My daughter's watching. How nice.
Hi, daughter.
Yeah, Sarah is her name.
Hi, Sarah. Oh, we don't get to see it anymore.
Well, when they just watched, it comes up on my phone. They have to make a comment to get on the screen.
Make a comment,
Sarah. Wow, we're in sync today, Jennifer.
All right, there you go.
Wow.
Also, I got to get through this.
Okay, let's go. Okay. My neighbor, Jeff Kelly.
Jeff Kelly, 817-781-0546. He'll be on the show probably in late January, early February, because the rates are changing. Yeah. And so he'll tell us what's going on.
And I will be honest, he is like so honest, and he's the nicest guy. He's my neighbor. Okay. And so he's always sending me things on to sell my house. I think he wants me to move.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But he's the guy you want to talk to if you're moving here or there.
You really do.
He really knows what he's talking about. Plus, I think it'd be nice to have an understanding what's going on in real estate, because there's some things going on in Austin this next session that'll directly affect real estate prices.
You know, it's interesting because this show is really important for stuff like that. There's stuff that I would never know about like that. Your show really is good for like understanding. No, I mean, like he gets into the politics, but a lot of local politics, not in a bad way, just to inform you of what's going on. And I think that's really important.
So will the new legislation be more geared towards a buyer or a seller?
Homeowner, basically.
Okay.
So it's long way off. But the short answer is they're considering eliminating property taxes.
Oh,
And-
wow.
But what are they going to do to replace that? That's another question. But if they eliminate property taxes, that's going to. Well, you talk about a land rush. I mean, there are people from all over the country will be moving to Texas because that's the primary way they get taxed here. And so you got California or something like that. You don't have
Okay,
property
maybe I'm
taxes.
changing my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want people coming from all over. We already have them coming from all over.
Well,
I want no property taxes, though, but I never thought about that.
well, they replaced it with some sort of value added or sales tax, and so there's all these complications. I have Greg Cooper on in January. He's the local guy that really understands all this stuff, and
I'm going to listen.
It's worth it because he was on about 3 weeks ago, and he's prepared. I mean, he comes in all these notes and all this other stuff and maps, and so he's ready to go. But anyway, Jeff, hey, back to you.
Hey, Jeff. See, we
Hey,
just
you
wanted to
doing
leave
there,
his
Jeff?
logo up there for a
Yeah,
while.
okay, Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com. He'll connect you to what you need to know, and he is a good guy. He really is. I've gotten to know him through this show, and there you go. So 817-781-0546.
I like his website.
Yeah.
Selling the 817.
Selling the 817.
Sounds gangster.
Yeah,
He's kind of a gangster.
yeah, he is. Okay.
Gangsta Jeff
All right.
Kelly.
Anyway, let's keep going.
I hope he's listening.
He listens later sometimes.
Okay, cool.
right.
Hi, Jeff.
Also, thank you to our friends over at Local Life.
Oh,
They do a magazine advertising. Okay, you know what? Okay, good.
I was in the magazine.
They just highlighted
that's
nonprofits
right.
this
That's
month,
right,
too.
they did. You know what the one thing they had all those 7 people had in common on that photo
No.
and the cover?
What?
All being guests on this show, baby.
Wow.
Has Garrett Roper been on the show?
Well, you have. That counts.
Okay.
So,
All right. Very good.
all 7 of those organizations have been,
Nice.
some are on fairly regularly. Like the Autism Center comes on about once a quarter.
Center for ASD.
Yeah, and the Wings for Hope, they've been on a couple times. I was going to have them on a couple weeks ago, but it was hard to do. They did not have enough people available, so sometimes they have to pass until maybe
Yeah.
when they have more availability and that kind of thing. But anyway, Tiffany Nico will get you all hooked up for advertising for 30,000 homes, plus all these businesses. I've seen magazines like you go to our place, you go to the mechanics, you go to a lot of retail places, and you'll see multiple copies there. And it's, so it gets a lot of views.
It does get a lot of
She's a
views. My
great
son
lady.
is on a basketball team at Laughlin, and one of his friends sent him a picture. I was like, "Is this your mom? She's in a magazine." And then
awesome.
So yeah, their family had just gotten the magazine and they were reading it.
Because
So
it's Johnson County.
Yeah.
It's more than just Burleson.
Oh, it's northern Johnson County and southern Tarrant County.
yeah, and they lived in Joshua. So that was cool.
Yeah. Also, I'm going through a bunch today. Also, we got a new one that came back from last time. That would be Hot Works. Our friend Michelle Humphrey was
I
on
wish
about.
I knew a lot about this, but I don't. I would love to do hot work.
Well, you have to go try it because it has 11 different workouts. It's all with infrared and whatnot, so you're getting a more maximum workout without all the strain and stress.
I just need red light therapy.
Yeah, right. And it's a lot of people, you have to make sure they understand you're not going there to throw iron around. You're going to you go there. You do have the yoga, you have Pilates, you have rowing, you have bicycling, you have aerobics, whatever. Yeah, and it's all done with an infrared system, so you're maximizing the workout without straining your body so much. Yeah. And
I want to.
And it's 24/7. So after hours, you have a code to get in, and it's safe. I've been over there, customer service, if you will, several times, and there's security there, and
It's open 24 hours?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. If anybody wants to give me a Christmas present,
There
I'll
you
take
go.
a hot walk.
And they have supported Harvest House.
Yeah.
hot work.
I mean, I just got to give her.
No,
a
Michelle
shout out.
does.
Yeah, she's
she was on the
great.
show 2 weeks ago and talking about hydration and taking care of yourself during the holidays and all that.
Sweet lady.
Yes.
Sweet
Also, I think we have one more. Yes, we do. Burleson Buzz, Cody O'Brien.
Buzz.
Yeah, I'm going to see him tonight at Gina's. We're going to talk
I
about the radio
am
deal.
a subscriber.
So am I. And it's also good. It's a good
I will
place to
be.
get some
I need
information.
to know.
Yeah, it comes out weekly, and also sports news. It's about the only place you can find out, basketball scores and stuff like that.
Like our high school and stuff
Okay.
like that. No, he does a really good job, and I love it because it's really inexpensive. It's just a handful of dollars.
$50 a year.
Yeah, I mean it's not much at all. And
$50 a year is cheap. I mean, it's cheaper than a subscription to a newspaper. So we're going to
thank
talk
you,
about.
Cody. Keep going.
We're going to see what we can do because I think he's going to be very interested in what we got going on. All right, let's talk about y'all for a change. All right, now you, Amber, you you're a part of Harvest House before you became the executive director. Right?
Yes.
How long have you been with them?
Well, and let's see. Let's start back in 2015. In 2015, I first came as a client. I got clothes and I got food. And then I was moved over outside of the Burleson area. And then in 2020, during COVID, I found myself homeless with my children. At that time, I was not married. So I found myself homeless with my children. And I became a resident of Crazy 8 Ministries.
Oh, wow. She's another sponsor. Or not sponsor, but another guest. I've had her Lisa on several times.
Yeah. So the Crazy 8 family is also part of my heart and part of my story. So through Lisa and Jennifer's partnership at Harvest House, they offered me a job, a part-time job as the receptionist. So I started working about 10 or 15 hours a week. A lot of people don't know that Harvest House is a second chance employer. So they gave me the opportunity to have a job there. And through the past 4.5 years, I have worked in almost every capacity except for bookkeeping. I'm not a bookkeeper. I don't know anything about bookkeeping. But I've worked in almost every capacity at Harvest House. And I've been the development manager. I've been the client aid coordinator. I've worked in the pantry, the resale store. And Harvest House has been part of my journey, not just as an employee, but as a person in the community. It has healed my heart and my soul. The clients do just as much for me as I do for them. And so I have an incredible passion. Harvest House is the heartbeat of my restoration story. So,
Well, I'll let you tell as much of that story as you want. I don't like to ask a lot of probing questions but you sound like this is not your typical path to where you are.
Can I throw something in here?
You betcha.
Yeah.
So I want to throw in a few things about Amber even before all that. So she is a paralegal. She was a paralegal. She was in sales, had with Pitney Bowes, and had a really strong career. And just some things happened that derailed that a little bit. And so then she had a second story, and now she's on her third story, basically. And I mean, I remember, it's so weird. Like, you have these moments. And I remember she walked in the door, and whoever's supposed to watch her kids, can I tell this part? Do you care?
you can tell anything.
Okay, so she came in and she
Okay.
had her kids with her, and she's like, I am so sorry. She's like, the person that was supposed to watch my kids fell through, and I didn't want to miss this interview. And she came, and her kids were like super awesome. They just sat there. She came in, and like from the moment I met her, I mean, I'm like the dedication of somebody going, I'm going to bring them anyway. I'm not going to reschedule. I'm not going to try to call. I'm not making excuses. I'm just showing up. And it just really impressed me. And there was just her spirit of where, when I met her, I mean, I don't remember meeting a lot of people, but I remember meeting her. Like, it was a very significant moment. And the Lord was like, and I just knew that she was supposed
Sometimes
to.
you just know, right?
And I knew that as I got to know her, that she had a future. And then I started thinking, there's going to be a day that I'm going to leave, and this is the girl that's going to take over. And God did it, because I really had no say in the hiring. So it was just a really God thing. So it's cool.
Well, you found yourself homeless, so you can relate to the people that come to Harvest House.
So there's not many things that the people at Harvest House, that the clients have been through that I haven't been through.
Right.
When I say that, I'm like just about, and Jennifer knows most of it. I just about everything. We'll just leave it about that. There's not.
Like I said, I don't get too personal, because it's your story and you'll tell it eventually as you wish. But it just, a lot of people that volunteer for these things probably don't experience these things.
Absolutely.
And so here you are, when somebody's sitting across the table from you and said, I don't have a place to live, or I can't pay the electric bill, or whatever, exactly.
I know exactly what that's like.
Yes.
I know exactly what it's like. I know what, one of the things I think it's important for people to know is that desperate people do desperate things, right?
Lisa Bolden now sends you a message.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
She says, show up as God intends. That was his plan.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And Lisa is a part of this story too. She's amazing.
Yeah, she is.
You use her services?
Do I use their services?
Yeah,
no.
no,
I don't use their
We're
services.
just partners. We're just partners.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
No.
I meant just in the story of
I have
Harvest
several
House.
several people have been on the show that have autistic children, and
I do not.
they do the services there that Lisa
Lisa
provides.
is wonderful, and I have been connected in different ways with Lisa throughout this. But yeah, so there are different things that people experience, and knowing, someone came. We had our Christmas. I'll give you this little tidbit of a story. Someone who we had our Christmas holiday friends, and we provide gifts to the community. And it was a client-only event. So in other words, you had to be registered and pre-qualified to be there. But our front door was open, and a young man came in, and I had happened to walk up, and it was not a coincidence. It was a God timing. I happened to walk up, and this young man came in, and he said, "Can I get some toys for my daughter?" And one of the other people had said, well, this is a client event. And immediately this person's response was, "So you're telling me I can't have any toys?" And so I stepped in because I knew that person, the initial reaction or thought is that they're becoming hostile. They're feeling, but it's not. That person is and I immediately saw, they're in a desperate situation where they see these brand new toys in front of them. They see an opportunity and they feel immediately shut down and immediately rejected. And so I feel like God has given me just a gift and an anointing to be able to see and discern what's going on in that person's life at that moment. And so I was able to call him aside and talk to him. We were able to set him up to get toys for his kids. Not at that moment. After the client event, he was able to come back and shop for his kid, for his daughter. And so I think the ability to understand the desperation that people who are going through that, the recognizing the trauma, and also recognizing a lot of times it's spiritual. There is a spirit that is behind that person. The Bible tells us to love the person, hate the sin. So even when someone comes in and they may not be acting appropriately or what we think is best, it's really important to see that's coming from a place of trauma. It's coming from a place of desperation. I'm not saying there's not negative people in the world, but the majority of our clients, they're not coming from a place of wanting to be angry or ugly. They just they're desperate
and stressed out.
And stressed out.
And they don't.
And I've been there, and I know it. And so that gives me the ability to be able to see, kind of where they are. And I also know the other side of it. I know some of the tricks so I'm able to do well at, making sure that the guidelines are put into place so that we are in fact helping the people that are.
Well, there are, as Jennifer's told me, people that will manipulate the system and things like that or try to game it. And that's unfortunate, but they're the minority by far. And
Absolutely. Like I don't worry about them, and I don't even like to talk about it sometimes because I don't want people to think, oh, well, because they're, no. Just but it's just like Amber said.
It's kind of like the cost of doing business, isn't it?
It
for
is.
the one that maybe has scammed you, get 100 that you helped.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to have that one person taint the 100, right?
And that's between them and God. For the most part, it is. But in order to be a good steward of our donors, I think it's important that we do have guidelines and we have the ability to kind of have discernment in who and where we steward the funds and the donations that people trust us with.
We want to make sure that people giving their money, we don't just give it out if we don't think they can continue to take care of themselves, but they're in a crisis, or maybe they do need something that we can resource out for other places, so that they're getting long-term help, but we can't always do long-term help.
Well, I know. And it's meant to be assistance, not a lifestyle. And,
absolutely.
And that kind of thing. But there are people that really struggle. And I've told this many times on this show, how fortunate I am to sit in this chair and talk to y'all and all these others about what they do and just how many people really are serving this community. It's amazing. I don't know if everybody knows this. I mean, they may know there's a Harvest House, but they may not be aware of what y'all do.
Right.
And it's a real blessing for me to watch all this, conspire, or not conspire, that's not the word I want to use. Partner with, that's the word. I don't know why I came up with conspire.
That's an interesting choice.
I know what you're trying to say, but I can't think of the word either.
Cooperate, collaborate is the word I actually was looking for. And I just like, good heavens, I'm getting old. What can I say? But anyway, the point is that we have, all these people that are doing all these things. And what I've seen the last few years is a lot of interaction between y'all. Like you mentioned Crazy Eights and, I've had Next Step Women on here.
Yes, Megan's amazing.
Yes.
All of them are amazing over there.
Really, they really are. And so I really feel blessed to live in a community where we have this community of servants. And you don't get that in every community. I hope people in Burleson appreciate that.
Oh, I mean, it is, the community that I became homeless in, the community that I went through, a lot of the things that I went through was Burleson. But there is, in fact, as you stated, enough resources and amazing love. And, there are so many people that have that have Jesus, that you feel the spiritual aspect of it. I would be remiss if I didn't continue to do that, because that is part of it. But being able to go through your restoration process in the same community that you lost yourself in is such a It's such a powerful thing. And, that's my story to a lot of our clients. If I could do it, you can do it. It's possible. There are resources available here. There are people that will love you. There are people that will come alongside you, and it's possible.
We had a lady last week who came in because she was here. We helped her through a really horrible. Her story was on our Facebook page for a long time, but her and her husband were living in their truck, and she had like 30-something surgery. I mean, a lot. Super bad health issues, and we worked with the police department and just through that. And then they got stabilized in another state because she had people like trying to harm her. And they've since moved back. And she came in just to say, because she's like, y'all are my family. She's like, you are my family because you helped me through this. And she wanted to make sure with me leaving that she could say goodbye and that she had a way to still keep in touch. And I don't do that with everybody, but there's certain people that you watch their lives go for, she looks healthy and happy. And you just look at when we met her, she was sickly and unhealthy, living in a vehicle. And it's just amazing what God can do.
Well,
it is just,
yeah. And you're a really great story, Amber. Because you mentioned you were homeless and you were at Crazy Eights and you were, struggling with all the issues that go with that, right? You're a really good example that, people sometimes have a stereotype about what a homeless situation is. It's like it's living under the bridge and they're just drug addicts or whatever. And they're unredeemable. And that's just totally untrue because I've learned from Jennifer that majority of the people that are homeless have jobs. And, just the rent or the bills got ahead of them and they're working at some store here in town, but they're not making enough to pay the rent, which is ridiculously high.
There is definitely that class of homeless people. There's also the class of homeless people, which is the class of homeless people that I fell into that have been through some extreme trauma that, like Jennifer said, I was a paralegal. I worked in a top law firm in Dallas. I was in business-to-business sales, won multiple accolades. And I guess I'll just tell you a little bit about this.
As much as you want.
Okay. So, and I got involved with a very abusive person. And so through that, the person went to prison and then went to prison for a long time. And, through the trauma of domestic violence, it changes part of your brain, so you may want to go get a job. You may want to work, but you can't certain times, the trauma response and the things that the body goes through and what abused people go through. You can't always just go out there and just work a little harder and make it happen a little bit better until you have that point where your restoration story begins, where your healing begins, where and I walked through that with Crazy Eight. My counseling was inner healings. Until you address the abuse, until you address the trauma, you can't get out of that cycle. And so a lot of the people that you may see under the bridge, the homeless drug addict, I would venture to say that most of those people just didn't wake up one day and say, you know what, I think I want to be homeless and a drug addict. Something happened. And now there are the people that just got that way. But I would say the majority of those people, they are there because something traumatic has happened in their life. And the only way, they haven't found the opportunity to connect to a Crazy Eight. They haven't had the opportunity to connect to a Harvest House. And so they are still out there searching for something to relieve their pain, something to cover the trauma. So they turn to drugs or they turn to alcohol. And then it's just a cycle that we all see so well that once you're in that cycle so long, it's almost impossible without a miracle from God to get out of it.
Right.
And so I was lucky enough to have these amazing community partners and have the ability to understand and have the tools that transformed my life.
Well, and that's what I also have learned a lot is it could happen just about anybody.
Yeah, it really can.
Because, you think, well, I got a home, I got, I'm doing pretty well, whatever. And then you have some sort of catastrophe happen and pretty soon you're in real deep trouble and you don't have any, have no resources. You think, well, I got a little bit of money, I got a car, whatever, and boom, it's all gone from whatever, some catastrophe happens. And, I think you're a really great example. I think you're perfect for this job because you're going to be able to tell somebody, hey, I know you had this happen to you. I know you're struggling now, but it can be done. And it's not just straighten up and fly right, but there are ways that you can, access to resources and things like that to get you back on your feet. And that's a wonderful thing. I'm sure, you mentioned about just a minute ago about the person coming in and talk about how grateful she was. I mean, that's jewels in your crown right there, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be somebody that's going to the rest of their life look back on y'all and say, those people helped me recover.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm just really glad at what y'all do. As far as your own personal story, I can't think of anybody better for this. Do you, Jennifer?
No.
Because, well, I think.
See, I'm sitting over here crying. I'm like, trying not to like have real tears.
Well, I'm just saying, if I was sitting
amazing.
there, I know in my case, if I went there, I'd be embarrassed. All right. I'd be like, I failed, as something, even if it has nothing to do with what I did, maybe it's just I lost my job, I got laid off or whatever. I'd be embarrassed, and I'll be able to talk to somebody like you said, look, me, been there, done that.
You don't know embarrassed.
Yeah. And I'm sure some of your clients think, well, I'm not worthy of it and all this other stuff.
Absolutely. Those things happen a lot. People are embarrassed. And this year, we have seen more middle-class families, people that, we've had volunteers come in from various businesses, and they thought, I saw this person, and I never thought that I would see this person there. And that's just... the cost of groceries alone is almost impossible to do. And whether you have a great job or not, I mean, I have a great job, but I have some teenage boys that are eating me out of house.
Yeah,
Mine is starting to do that. I think he ate.
The growth spurt, yeah, I'm familiar.
Oh my gosh.
Or when my son comes to visit, he's 32 and he's coming down for Christmas. My bill's going to go through the roof. His grandmother-in-law, if you will, called him the eatingest boy in the world, and I
love
believe
that phrase.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell him.
yeah,
I'm going to use that.
yeah, and I believe it, So, but his mother wants him to come home. So what can you say? But anyway, but I just
You'll feed him.
it's really really great.
You need to come to Harvest House, need some help.
Yeah, I'm blessed, but I know where to go if I don't.
Absolutely.
If something happens, and. I've also learned a lot about PTSD, which we all associate with military activity, which no, not at all. Now I've learned a lot that PTSD is something that's more universal than just military events. And I'm sure some of your people come in and they're just shell-shocked, basically, about what's gone on in their lives. A year ago, they probably had a job in a house, and now they're living in their car. And that's got to be traumatizing.
Very traumatic. Yeah. And then we try really hard to make sure that Harvest House is a safe place, that people, when they come in, that they feel the tangible presence of Jesus, that they, and that's through our actions. It's not like, we don't shove Jesus down your throat. We want them to see Jesus in what we're doing and that they feel safe. So there's times that we'll have a client that comes in and, they may be having a moment. And so we'll pull them aside and just make sure that, that the rest of the people that are in there feel safe, that they're comfortable. If you're staying in your car, you don't want to come into a stressful environment, or there's many contributing factors that could be going on, and they're already in a heightened sense of stress. So when they come into Harvest House, we want it to be peaceful. We want it to be calm. We want it to be healing for them. They have an opportunity to talk to somebody if they want more. And if they want to just get food and go, then they have the opportunity to do that too. And we don't put pressure on them.
Jennifer, you introduced her to Debbie Beeman.
Yeah.
I know Debbie Beeman. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because she's worked with Debbie on a number of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's been around
I
for a
love
while.
Debbie.
So she's
I know.
helped events and
Okay.
I've actually met you a couple of times before too. I know.
Well, when did that happen?
I met you at BNI once. I met you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she went there
I must
for
have
a
been,
minute and a half.
I must have been.
I wasn't
schmoozing or
very
whatever.
memorable, I guess.
I'm sorry.
Just kidding.
But bump. Well, see, Taylor's not here, so I'll do the bump. There you go. There we go. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Well, that's good. But as far as Harvest House situation right now, all right, school's closing for the holidays after Friday, and there's no lunches Friday for that matter. But a lot of kids depend on those breakfasts and lunches, and so I know that my friends at Promises said we need stuff that kids can make while their parents are working. Not simple stuff. Is that what y'all are experiencing as well?
I mean, they get, when that comes up, so when their families, they are allowed to, because they choice grocery shop. So it's the same kind of thing. So we have a lot of families that will come in and make sure that they get the.
Well, I hope so, because, a lot of people just don't think about that at Christmas time. They're so wrapped up in, so to speak, in Christmas. Get the pun.
And I haven't seen the numbers, just with the change in my role. I don't know all the numbers and stuff, but generally November and December are some of the highest months because of that. It's per number of days that we're actually open. So a lot of times it's almost the same. And I don't know if.
But y'all are closing for 2 weeks, right?
We are closing for 2 weeks.
And
we are closing. So we have most people They're able to come. So these couple weeks are very busy because people are coming in, they're stocking up for the month. We are able to, give them the amount of food that they're going to need to go to continue through that. We just went through our fall food drives, which is a huge push that we do every fall. And I'm telling you, these local schools and businesses came through for us. 46,000.
I thought it was 48.
Okay, 48,000 pounds of food among the schools and the local businesses, and it's incredible. And that carries us through these intense times.
Well, I was part of that when I was with BHS. I was a teacher there.
Yeah.
And I was student council sponsor for about 12 to 13 years. I've told Jennifer this story, but I would say around 2006, we were doing a food drive and had a young lady whose her married name now is Jennifer Sando. Back then it was Jennifer Barnes, and she was part of student council, and she said, I'm going to do this food drive. And she really jumped on board with it. And we had 4 flatbeds worth of groceries.
Wow.
And we drove over to your place on Thomas, and I walked in there and said, hey, I'm with the high school. And because at the time it was the high school, as it should be still. Anyway.
Did you hear that, Centennial?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But anyway, we pulled up, and I said, I'm from the high school student council. And I had about a dozen kids to help unload. And the 2 ladies working started tearing up. And I go, did I say something? I said, let me show you something. And we walked into their pantry area, and it was literally 1 sack of groceries. That was it.
Wow.
Almost completely empty. And the kids, I think, got emotional too when they saw that, because we were able to pretty close to fill those shelves up with what they had done at the high school. They brought in about 6,500 pounds by themselves.
That's incredible.
And it's just amazing how timely that was. And I thought, okay, I really get irritated with student council sometimes, but this time I'm proud to be part of it because they really came through in the clutch. I know the young lady that ran it did get teary-eyed because I think it dawns on them, so just how close a call that was. Also, when your friends at Harvest, I bet that's Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's going to say we go through about 50 to 55 average daily to 65, 70 daily during the holidays. Yeah, that's what they were telling me, promises are going through.
Thank you, Harvest House, for that.
Garrett.
Garrett. I told Garrett, you need to have Garrett on here.
I've told him before we were going to be an eye together.
Next time, Garrett, you're coming with Amber.
I was like, Garrett, why is Garrett not on this?
I have been hassling him at the B&I meetings. He's like,
good.
yeah, I'll get around to it.
But I mean, I think one of the things, true, you said this food will get us through. And first of all, I want to say that story you told is like so Harvest House, because we have, to my knowledge, and this is at least since I've been here, so that was back in 2006, because this is the Lord's place. It doesn't matter who's running it or whatever, it's the Lord's place, and he has never had it totally go empty. You may not get quite as much, but I don't know of a time when you get down to that last bit and we start praying, and we have my story is the peanut butter, and we had a new staff person who faith was a little struggling, and he's like, we need to buy peanut butter. And I was like, we're not going to buy peanut butter, we're going to pray. And so we prayed, and like 2 hours later we had like a whole cases of peanut butter delivered. And he was just like, and I was like, that's it. And just like that, somebody prayed. I guarantee it, And that 48,000 it's amazing, because that's like, that's right at the top of what we've ever gotten. And in the past that would get us through April, but now that'll probably get us through February, maybe, because the numbers are so much higher. I mean, that back then it would last because we were doing 20 to 30 a day. Now we're doing 55-ish.
When I first started, if we had 20 people, it was a big day. We had 8 employees. The storehouse was in Alllard on Thomas, like in our main location. And then we had, it was a big deal if we had 20 people. Now, I mean, we have some days, I think 86, maybe Garrett was the highest day that we've had. That's 86
We've had 100 at time.
Have we? That's okay. That's how many families. And you think some of those families, like we have a client that has 14 children.
Whoa!
And another one
that has 12.
14.
No.
Are they all from the same couple?
Yep.
Or
Yes.
so not a blended
Yes.
family?
No, it's not a blended family.
Well,
or 16 total in that
he
family.
needs to take up golf. That's all I got to say.
Okay, we're not judging.
No, but 14 kids.
But we just have big families.
So
We have
yeah,
big
so
families.
that's we average about 800 to 850 families a month. So you think inside that family there could be 14 people, 12 people, 8 people.
Yeah. You don't talk about, when you talk about 60 to 70 people. You're talking about 60 to 70 families.
that
Correct.
show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Correct.
mentioned before, I think I said it maybe already. I do stuff with Promises quite a bit, and I've never seen the lobby not full.
Yeah.
And the phone's not buzzing off the line.
Right.
And, sometimes the shelves are about half empty, sometimes, or half full, depends, optimistic, right?
Yeah.
Half full.
Half full.
Half full.
Half full.
And sometimes they're in pretty decent shape. Usually on Mondays they're okay. You go there on a Thursday and it's like they gotten cleaned out.
Same thing.
Same thing with y'all too. But I've been pushing the last couple of weeks. Say, guys, if since y'all are closing, Promises is closing. I know Elizabeth over at House of Hope are closing for the holidays. You better get it in now because that's that's when they're going to be a lot of push. So to my vast listening audience, if you're at HEB or City Market, Walmart, wherever you buy your groceries, if you buy a little bit extra, it ain't going to go to waste, is it?
No, it's not.
And I really have become a believer more strongly in the fish and loaves idea.
Oh, yes.
That a lot of people think, well, I just got like 2 extra jars of peanut butter and maybe a loaf of bread. That ain't very much. Are you kidding? It's the widow's mites, right? How much blessed those 2 little pennies were than all the rich people dumping their change in.
We talk about it. Every dollar counts.
That's
Every
right.
dollar matters.
And so don't out there listen to this. Don't think, well, I'm only going to afford like $10 extra in groceries for food to drop it off. Hey, that $10 of food that you dropped off is going to be a lot of difference to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And I really, honestly, that's really y'all have strengthened my faith as watching all these other groups have strengthened my faith because I know how y'all operate. I know that it's like, oh gosh, look at that electric bill. We need some money and look at the account. Lord, it's about time to take one of those cattle off the hill that you have 10,000 of, right?
Yeah. Amen.
And it happens.
It does.
And that's so that's what I tell the people here. So don't think that because your contribution isn't like you're backing up the truck, that it's unworthy or insignificant. It surely is not to the all, not to that family, not to the eyes of the Lord either.
We have a number of monthly donors that are $8, $12 a month. And those people, I'm telling you, those people are our backbone. They are our bread and our butter. And I believe that they are completely blessed by the Lord in that. And I know who they are because that means so much. I look through every single donation and I think, wow, I know this has got to be a lot for this person. And they're continuing. We have, I will tell you, we have clients sometimes that come in and they, have something extra and they're like, here's $20, here's this. And, that's incredible to me.
That's a sacrifice. Sacrificial giving, I've gotten more familiar with that.
Yes.
If particularly you have kids and family and all this other business, and particularly this time of year, we get distracted a bit with oh God, I have this party, I've got this family meal, I got get these gifts wrapped and whatever else. And sometimes we get the eye off the ball a little bit about what Christmas is about. And it's definitely about service.
Absolutely. Well, it's about Jesus, the birth of Jesus, and the need for a Savior.
The ultimate servant.
Absolutely.
The ultimate servant. And so that's the example we should set. But I don't know. I know by Christmas Day, Robin and I are like, oh, thank God, it's over.
I hate that Christmas is so like that. I was like, I got to go get this gift. And I got to do this.
This has been the most amazing. I mean, my last 3 Christmases have been horrible. I've lost parents and blah, blah, blah. But like this year, I'm like, nothing's happened. We're not going anywhere. There's no funerals. At least my personal family. And I just am like, we have the Christmas tree up. We put a couple decorations. My daughter decorated. That's kind of it. And I'm like, we didn't put anything in the yard.
Right.
None of us are super motivated. I'm like, then don't do it.
I know.
And I was just like, this year has been so nice. And I'm just like, really trying to sit back
Derek.
and just
What's up, Derek?
enjoy the Lord.
Yeah.
Hey,
Big
Derek
man.
Rose, our former leader.
Yeah.
Great
He was our
people
former president.
leading your Harvest House Burleson. You betcha.
I love me some Derek.
Yeah.
Derek did commit to fit with me. I got fit
I did
for
it
a while.
too. And
For a while,
about
then I
died.
stopped, and then now I'm not so fit.
Yeah, well.
I need to do some more.
New Year's resolution. Well, go to Heartworks. There you go.
That's it. I told you that's what I want. Don't
slide,
listen,
slide
Derek.
in the sponsors.
Yeah, slide in Heartworks.
That's how it works.
That would be
Yeah.
good.
But I just really appreciate what y'all do because not only the food issues, but you also had the Toys for Tots. Is that still, that was already done?
It's over.
Right?
It's over.
right.
It was Thursday. And we had 450 plus kids. I don't know the exact number. And we were actually able, so Toys for Tots recommends that you give 2 gifts per kid. We were actually able to give 3 gifts. We had such amazing community support from people that donated, especially to our older kids. 11 to 18, a lot of these kids, when people are thinking about buying a toy, they think about a toy, right? And so we really marketed to the community to help us with the older kids. And Toys for Tots had amazing toys this year. We went over to their warehouse, and I think we got about 20 of those, of the big, large things of toys. And then the community rallied and brought the rest of them. We had an event at Harvest House on Thursday. It was from 3 to 7. And the families get to walk through. We had Santa Claus there. We had face painting. We had a number of our board members that came and supported us, which was really awesome. It's an amazing event.
I went to the event, Toys for Tots, over at the high school parking lot. And Jack was just beaming.
He is. He's amazing.
He was just so excited about what was going on and seeing it. And I asked him later at the BNI meeting. He's also a BNI member with us. And he was thrilled with the results. And, the economy is what it is. I mean, so when people are buying these toys and whatever else, they're having to dig deep.
Yeah.
So, I went by and dropped a couple of toys off. One for a boy, one for a girl. I hope I bought the right things. I bought some Star Wars thing for a boy.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Some like a little, Millennium Falcon thing, and another for girls. I bought some. I think there's a movie coming out, Wicked or whatever, and they had dolls with that.
Yeah.
And so little dolls, and so I thought maybe that'd be fine.
So I will say that this year the toys were absolutely incredible. And not that we're not thankful for them, and they're incredible every year.
I'm going to tell you, I got Toys for Tots back in 2005 at a different job. They were not incredible. This was incredible. It's like people are understanding. It's not about the value; it's about the quality.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking through. They had a box
Toys
at
for Tots.
Gina's and had a box at Old South, and I just kind of glanced in, and I was at both places during that drive, and I looked in. Dang. I wish I had this when I was a kid. I hope somebody didn't pilfer this. This is a pretty nice toy
And
here.
they were nice. So Toys for Tots was incredible. They are such a great resource for us, and we love Jack Matson. He is very good.
And
at
Mike Purdue.
And Mike Purdue. I have never met Mike Purdue. But
He's been on the show a couple of times. He's a very fine man. Really, I just got to meet him.
He does the ball, and he's kind of he's a realtor too, so he's pretty busy. So he and Jack partner, but so Mike does a lot. So I just had to shout out to Mike Purdue.
Shout out to
He's
Mike.
with 7-6 band too. That's his band.
Now, as far as 2025, anything special you have planned other than the usual events? I'm sure, but do you have like goals or plans or some events that you have in mind?
So we have like you said, our normal. We'll have the Vineyard Vibes,
right?
And then we'll have our Harvest.
What date is Vineyard Vibes?
The 27th. April the 27th. It's a Sunday at the Lost Oak Winery.
I had to throw that in there because it's going to be great.
I was there at the last one and had Susie Morgan and her band there, and and it was a great event.
Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, a great time, and because it isn't just the event itself. You're running into a lot of the same people, which is great. It's like a circle or a community that you develop of people that participate in these things. And so you see, not just city leaders and whatnot, but you see people
friends.
Friends, and you become friends that way. And plus, Lost Oak is a great venue. It's got that
beautiful
place.
We had our Christmas party at Lost Oak last night, and I mean, it was beautiful. And the people that helped us, that served us, I just have a great. I mean,
Roxanne and her staff are amazing. Truly.
Amazing. And it was very reasonable. I mean, if you have an event, if you have a party, my daughter went to a baby shower at Lost Oak Winery and I had never thought about having a baby shower there.
I've been to wedding parties there.
Wedding parties, but a baby shower.
Or like a wedding shower kind of thing.
Okay.
It was a couple shower. So,
Yeah.
not
I
just
was at a
young
birthday
lady.
party there a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
fun.
I went to like the Next Step Gala back in October, and I saw some of the same people, and it's really nice. And I really believe our mayor really puts
he's
his back.
amazing.
He puts his back into these things, so to speak.
Yes.
He really shows up, and it means something to him. I had coffee with him yesterday, talked about the idea we were talking about, and it's not a facade. Okay, it's not like I'm doing this.
He's the real deal.
He's not doing it because it's what a mayor should do. Sure, great. And we understand that's what a mayor does, but he does it because he really likes it, wants to do it.
He has passion, and passion's transferable.
And then so, yeah, it is. And so we become pretty good friends through this show practically. So there's another benefit. But as far as, but there are other city people like that. Victoria Johnson does a lot of these things.
She's awesome too, I know.
And she'll be on in about 3 weeks from now. I'm going to talk about city business. And
Business.
Yeah.
City business.
She's my neighbor too.
Yes, she is.
She lives in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Are you in the neighborhood? Are you?
Nope.
No.
Oh,
I live out in the country a little bit.
What do you think your neighbors think about you telling them all, where they live? But I guess nobody knows where you live, so it's okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't mean like where you live like that, but I mean like that's
don't
my
think they
neighborhood.
care.
They don't care.
No, but no.
I don't think they care.
Nah.
Don't tell anybody where I live.
So you have the event
I don't
on the
know where you live.
27th. Back to the story here, ladies.
Sorry, I'm so sorry we got off track.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the first time we got off track.
Yeah, you done really
Pretty
well.
much a
It's the
miracle.
first time you had to rein us
well,
in.
with Jennifer, it's on. Okay, back on the rails, back out of the, back on the track here. Are you kidding me? She's a storyteller,
She has passion.
yes.
So does Amber.
And so you have what your goal for 2025 obviously is, increase, the giving, the money, et cetera. That's always a goal. But do you have anything like you're working towards?
Yeah, so in 2025, we are going to kick off our Getting Ahead program. Our Getting Ahead program is a tried and true program that has been, we went and actually visited in Oklahoma, and this program is all about the restoration piece. It's all about understanding some of their, there's called hidden rules in each different. I'm not going to go into all that. It's an amazing program that is really has a restoration piece on it. So we do an amazing job of feeding. We do an amazing job of clothing people, and we're really going to focus this year on the restoration piece of our mission. And that is my part that I am one of the most passionate things about, because that's my story, is restoration. And I absolutely believe it to be possible. So this program is going to kick off sometime in the beginning quarter probably of next year. And we are going to really rally behind that. And we're going to rally behind community partners, because one of the pieces of this program is to introduce people to key members in the community. So one of the things that I think has, really changed the trajectory of my story is I've met the mayor. I've met Victoria Johnson. I've had the opportunity to meet the presidents of multiple banks. And so the opportunity to have those connections is a critical part of the restoration story. Once you're at a place where you're able to articulate and have good conversation in those rooms. So we teach them how to have conversations. The way that you talk in this environment isn't the way that you can talk in this environment. And so we teach them some of those hidden rules and allows them to have more opportunities and more rooms that they may have not had those opportunities to. So that's a big push for, that's something different and a big push for 2025.
Can I do a little shout out on that?
Shout it out.
I would like to do a shout out to the Shambin family companies for sponsoring that for our 2025 kickoff.
That sounds about right for the Champlins. So they do a lot of stuff like this.
They do. And it was just an ask, and they came and did a tour, and just, I know they don't like all the hoopla, so I'm going to say it here, but Trisha and Patrick Shamblin, and just their generosity to Harvest House is amazing. And so we're really grateful, because it's going to help make a dream come true, truly, not just for Harvest House, but for the families it's going to reach.
Yes. And when I talk to people like to do what y'all do, can you imagine how it's going to be when you're in the afterlife, when you're in heaven, and you come across somebody who says, I'm here because of y'all.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you remember that Ray Bolt song?
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Forgiven to the Lord.
Yeah, we're probably not going to sing here.
Well, it's fine.
Well, I don't want to sing
I know that song. I didn't know who did it, but I've heard it many, many times.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost at a time, and before you leave the studio, we'll hook you up for another appearance. I had her about once a month, once every 5 weeks, roughly. Well, I like to continue that. But y'all take it away. We have about a few more minutes left.
Let's let Jennifer give a couple shout outs to what she's going to be transitioning into. Let's give her some space.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So I am kicking off Roots and Reflections End of Life Planning. And I do have a Facebook page. It's Roots and Reflections. So click on it, follow it. Right now, I'm just getting some followers. The content's going to start. My last day at Harvest House is Friday. So basically what the idea is just helping families on the front end, getting their wills, power of attorney, those things in order. And so that's where Legal Shield comes in, because that's a part of a bigger project. But it's an essential foundation. If you don't have your will, and people don't think about it, they don't think about when they're young, they don't think about their teenagers, they don't think about things. But if you have children, and I mean, I'm just as guilty. I just got my will, and it's like you need these things, because if something unexpected happens, you need to be prepared. And
can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
I think this is one of the most critical things that came up when we were at BBC, is that what is the reason why you need to prepare for this, and how you can help your loved ones.
BBC is what?
Burleson Business Connections.
All right.
It's a networking group.
Right.
Is that whenever
Wednesday mornings? 7:30 to 9 at Old Texas Brewery.
That's
Okay, go ahead.
B&Is. That's right, my B&I
sorry.
time. Sorry. Whoa.
Well, I'm talking right now, so
you are entitled to Jennifer's opinion.
that's right. Okay,
That's
go ahead.
what I heard.
Okay, is that whenever you're in that moment and the grief is strike, that is not the time to be planning. And I know that full well from losing my adult son last year. And so if you set up time, especially as a parent, like, you don't want your children to have to be grieving the loss of you and planning for things that you neglected to plan. And I thought that was like, it just, anyways, go on.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. No, that's good. You can give all the commercials. I need them. And so that's part of it. And I'm going to be doing some educational setups, meetings, whatever you want to call them. I'm coming up with the title right now, but inviting people to come and just talk through it. What are some of those things? There's ways you can organize. There's things that you can do and things to think through. Because just like you said, when somebody passes, you've got all the grief and then you have all the business. And I want to help people as much as I can with the business. Like, I've got people that are going to hire me to organize their paperwork. Now we have something called a knockbox. It's a next of kin box. Actually, if you go to my bio link, it's bio.link/roots and reflections. You can get a knockbox, and what it is it organizes your paperwork. You don't have to come up with like, oh, what are all the things I need? And so being able to get people set up for those things, being able to help walk people through it. I got my end-of-life doula certification last year. It was part of my grieving process. But then I'm like, yeah, I want to do this for people, because when I was helping my stepmom especially, she was like, have you ever thought of doing this for a living? And it just planted a seed that the Lord has just watered. And that's how it came to be, that it was my time to leave Harvest House, because the Lord was like, this is what I want you to do next. And you can obviously see that Amber's been, he's been watering the things in her life too. And this is what's next for her. But I really want to help people. Sometimes I'm going through my biblical counseling certification, and I want to eventually be able to do kind of a full service. Like, I want to help you walk through this grief. I want to help you continue, because it's hard. I mean, it's been 3 years since I lost my parents. I lost three of parents in 2 years, for those who don't know. And it changed me. It just changed my whole perception of life and living and what's important. And I want to help others have that same, because it can be a wonderful experience. I know people don't think that. But when people pass, it can be a wonderful thing. It can be a precious thing. It's always going to be hard, but how can we make it the best for the person passing and the person who's going to be living afterwards? So that's where we're going. Roots and Reflections, end of life planning.
Well, you know where to find me when you want to talk about this again.
Yeah,
okay,
I do.
I got plenty of space in mid to late February. So,
well, just sign me up now. We'll figure it out.
All right.
We'll figure out the rest later. Just sign me up.
All right. And Amber, you want to finish off?
What do you want me to finish off?
Well, I mean, just a summary of about Harvest House.
Okay,
what do you mean?
Well, yourharvesthouse.org, end of your donations are accepted. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
How about Jennifer gives her last sign off for Harvest House here?
Okay, that's fine
wow,
too.
she's like,
That's
okay.
fine too.
Well, it is end of year giving, and we are about 50% to our goal of 40,000. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
And so we need your support, because we need to end this year really strong, so that we can start 2025 really strong. Because what happens this month? Hey, there's Mac.
Yay!
So
look at Mac. Is that not the coolest? That is our mascot for
Santa
this end of
cheese.
He's so cute.
Macaron and cheese.
Thanks.
I love it. Yeah,
For putting him up there.
Spell, but we need your donations, and like Brad's, and I'm just gonna be very blunt. We need your donations.
Yeah, sure.
Find your charities, find your thing, and give to them generously.
This year has been a hard year. It's been a very challenging year with donations. It was an election year. People were scared to open their pocketbooks.
It's been up and down. And, we've gotten a lot of food, but you can't keep the lights on with food. And so, shop at the resale store. That's one way you can give back. Donate to the resale store. Donate cash, because we can buy food at discounted rates. We have partners like City Market that we can get at really good prices. And we need you. We need this community. If Harvest House is going to continue to be amazing, it's not all about the person sitting in the leadership. It's about the community stepping up. Because Harvest House, I've gone through the history. It's our 40th year. Mm-hmm. This is Burleson's Harvest House. And it was created by the community for the community. And the only way it's going to continue.
Of the community. Sounds like Lincoln.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Okay, go.
And when you give to Harvest House, you change lives like mine.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's a good way
and
to
we are
end the
done.
show. Okay.
Boom. Okay.
Thank you, Josh, for being quick on the.
Yeah, Josh.
You,
you came in clutch.
Yeah.
Fun day's work.
Yeah.
All the days work.
Wow, you've been hanging out with your kids.
Yeah.
You came in clutch.
He said it a minute ago, and I thought it sounded
Did you
pretty.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, are we still live? Or are we?
Yeah, we're
we
still
are.
live.
All right, guys. All right. Okay.
I don't know how this goes.
That's right. Next Monday, I have Jonathan Moore, who is starting his own podcast, and he also is youth minister in the area. Fine. And then we're taking a few days off as well. I think on the 23rd and then the 30th, I have like a year-end wrap-up where I'll unload all my built-up Biden angst or whatever. I don't know, whatever. And then we'll go back to regular programming beginning in January. So thank y'all for what y'all do, and thank you for coming by. And
thanks for having us, Brad.
Sure. It's what I like to do. I could rant about Joe Biden any day, and Robin says she gives me 10 minutes a week. And how I spend those 10 minutes, either all at once or 2-minute segments, it's up to me. So
to complain about Biden.
Yeah, or anybody else, or who else is on my mind. All right, we'll see.
That's so funny.
All right, y'all remember this week, they're going to be closed, and so are the other pantries. So,
go get your food now.
Go get it now, you bet. And we'll see y'all next Monday.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Signing off.